Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Yeah.
Write this down.
Let's do this.
Write that down.
The only show in America, this and the OG, the Mackey and Judd edition of Write That Down, that puts statistics next to our predictions like absolute idiots. So you can see how wrong we are on a regular basis. We'll get to accountability session. We'll get to predictions. We will get to some Judd's camp notes with just one more day left of actual training camp. But North American Banking Company is presenting Write That Down predictions here today and every week. It's a Minnesota-based banking company since 1998, if that season rings a bell. That season spawned a bunch of Vikings fans and a bank. That's how exciting that season was. It's crazy. 6 locations in the Twin Cities: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, and 50th in France. So maybe you are a UDFA and you're about to make the 53 and you're going to plant some roots. You need a trusted Minnesota-based bank that specializes in personal relationships, cutting-edge online tools. Well, you're in luck. You can go to nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down.
Judd, how are you feeling emotional as you prepare to go to the last day of Judd's camp notes here today?
No, I am, because, I get, what a lucky guy. I get to segue right from Judd's camp notes, right from Egan to Arden Hills for the State Fair. So I get to pivot.
Falcon Heights. Arden Hills is a little...
Arden Hills?
Arden Hills.
I meant Falcon Heights.
You meant the failed Vikings stadium project?
Yeah, Arden
I was
Hills,
like, Arden Hills.
Yeah, no, you're right. I meant Falcon Heights. But anyway, I get to pivot right from training camp to the fair.
It's been so long since Sports Dad's been to the fair. He doesn't even know where it is anymore. He's like, is it in Brainerd?
I was going to say
where are we going to be tomorrow?
Actually, you know what? No, I goofed up because that's not true. Because in 1990, Dawn and I lived in, our first apartment was the Harmar Apartments in Roseville, which was right by Falcon Heights.
Yeah.
I just was thinking, and I was going to say St. Paul at first. But then I tried to get creative, and sometimes you dig yourself a hole by being too creative. I should have just said St. Paul. But that overshadows the real storyline here, which is Sports Dad gets to pivot right from training camp to the State Fair.
Yeah.
I think even like there's zones of the fair that might, like our building, for example, at KSTP, half of it is in Minneapolis. There's a line where there's different zip codes in our own building. So I think part of the fairgrounds, it's not Arden Hills, we can confirm that. No. But I think part of the fairgrounds is in St. Paul at least.
Brainerd.
At least some of it probably.
It's in
There are some people
Alexandria.
There are some people who we work with who would be very happy if the State Fair was held now in Brainerd.
They should do that. They should once every 5 years they should change the location of the State Fair and put it up in different places, Maybe up in Two Harbors.
Or a satellite fair. So
or
it
just moves around every year?
The State Fair stays where it currently is, but then they run smaller State Fairs, satellites off of that one. And so all of the, can you imagine if you took Sweet Martha's to Bemidji or Brainerd?
I'm sure they've thought about this. I mean, there's got to be a reason why they don't have more.
You think they have, or did we just drop a
I don't know. I think Judd just created a phenomenal idea that no one has ever thought of. I'm with Judd. I'm with Judd.
Write this down.
Been serious.
All right.
So here's how Write That Down works for those who are maybe new. Maybe you just discovered Purple Daily right before the season here. You're like, what is this clownery? These 3 idiots every single day. Well, click that like button and the subscribe button if you're new here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Here's how Write That Down works. Every single week, we make 3 Vikings or football-related predictions. They must be quantifiable, and then we keep track of completion percentage as a statistic and touchdowns. A touchdown is a little bit subjective, but essentially, if there's like a 25% or less chance of something happening, then it would be deemed a touchdown. And then listeners, if you want to be like Sal and participate as a guest predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled here for some time in the coming weeks. Let's start with Judd. Nothing came off the board for you, so we will we'll highlight something still on the board. Awesome. You said Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes.
Or as Mike Greenberg was calling him all morning, Indiana Jones, will be the starting quarterback to open
God.
the season.
Oh.
But he will be benched at some point for performance-related reasons. So you're halfway home on this.
Okay.
Now you're just rooting for his demise at some point in the next 4 months.
Okay. And, I could have just stopped. Well, I could have stopped at starting QB, but that wouldn't have been a touchdown. This would be a touchdown, right? Because it's got two-part prediction. Okay. As an old guy, can I just say this? Indiana Jones was a really bad dad type joke.
Oh, Greeny.
It's not that funny.
Was jumping at the bit to get that one. You know it. Like, you just know it. He was ready to rock with that corniness.
So he made the joke like 5 times in the first segment that I was watching. I don't know how many times he made it before then. Yeah. And there's like 3 or 4 other guys on panel. Ryan Clark and all these guys, Dan Graziano. And he goes, okay, I got one more. And he said, so if this is Daniel Jones' last chance at a starting quarterback job, would this not be Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? And which that's pretty clever. But they all just like melted in their chairs, and so let's just go to commercial break.
It's not that clever.
What?
It's really.
What?
I mean,
it's Grady. Gotta get up on ESPN.
Yeah. I mean, that's the type of stuff that you probably drop to your kids and around the house, and they are like, "Oh, Dad." But Dad. I could see that.
Dad, you're not going to say that on national TV, are you?
Yes, I am. I'm back. I'm better than ever.
All right. I need confirmation on something here because I was watching the defense the second day of joint practice. Excuse me, when McCarthy was lighting it up. Judd's camp notes was all over the offense. So I predicted J.J. McCarthy will connect with Lucky Jackson on a red zone touchdown pass at some point in joint practices. Full team.
Okay. Okay. So was this the second day you said? Thursday?
Well, I said either day. I don't think it happened on the first day because they weren't really doing a lot of red zone, and JJ was not that great the first day.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's sad about this dude? He dropped. I mean, we saw this. Jackson dropped this pass.
Let's see.
I'm gonna have to go back and look through this. So I've got the joint practices here. So 8/14/25 was Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see here. 7-on-7. Okay.
I love how we're going line by line right now to make
here's
sure.
Here's some team drills. Nothing for Lucky Jackson. Here's some team drills. Red zone team drills, but nothing for Lucky Jackson.
Yeah. That's right.
Red zone period 10. Let's see if we got it here. No. Unfortunately, we don't.
I didn't think there was.
Oh wait.
I just did a.
Oh wait.
Oh.
Well.
Oh yeah. No, you got it.
What?
Ones versus ones in the deep red.
Oh.
It's in my notes right here in Judd's camp notes.
Wow.
This was a nice play. McCarthy scrambles right on the run, hits Lucky Jackson, number 81, in the corner of the end zone. So
let's go, dude.
So you got it. So this is available
a
at the State
touchdown
Fair
for old Macadac here.
Available at the State Fair, Judd's camp notes. Even those of you who are as unorganized as I am can find what they want when they have Judd's camp notes.
Wait, I have a dumb question. When you open the notebook, is it a blank notebook or is it a replica of Judd's 2025 camp notes?
I've thought about this just quickly here. I've given thought to, do you think if we auctioned or did something for charity that, like, here's camp notes 1 from this year.
Yeah.
Here's camp notes 2, and then here's camp notes 3.
Yeah, I think we approached you about this for the Courage Kenny Power of Sports.
Oh, yeah.
If you had like previous notebooks, I think going forward, if you could save those, if there's nothing, I don't know what else you write in those. Do you ever write like rips on people to remember?
No. This year I have, I used to be more scattered with Judd's camp notes, but because of the mission, which was essentially to follow J.J. McCarthy as closely as possible. Like, I used to try to do depth chart stuff, and I'd watch the quarterbacks. I've never charted them, but because of the McCarthy interest, this is nothing but all of, like, the passes by McCarthy, Howell, so it's very specific.
Let's definitely save those, and we can, I don't know, we'll find a fun way to auction. Would someone pay, like, $500 for
I don't know
an original one-of-one Judd's camp notes, Patriots joint practice?
I'll give them to Ross.
Yeah.
Because I will lose them. I know you're shocked by that.
Or it's possible Dawn, in her efforts to clean up, space, she might toss them or something. So.
She's not allowed it. No, she can't come in this room. It gives her too much stress.
Let's go to listeners here. 4 things came off the board. We'll start with the bad. So there's a couple things here that I'm cleaning up the spreadsheet here a little bit. I missed a couple draft ones here. So Donovan said the first offensive player the Vikings draft will be a wide receiver, not a running back. Ironically, it was an offensive lineman named Donovan. Think about that for a second. Billy said Max Brosmer will play at least 2 quarters and throw at least 2 touchdowns in the second preseason game.
A tough one. Got part of it and then didn't get the second part.
Brendan said back a few months ago the Vikings will use their first pick in 2025 to acquire either an interior offensive or defensive lineman. Interior offensive line there being the key. Oh, Donovan Jackson. And then Patrick said by the end of the 2025 NFL season, the NFL will announce AI-assisted reviews. I think for the spots, this counts. Like they are now reviewing first down spots with an AI assist.
100%.
Unless you guys want to fight this against Patrick.
That's right.
No, if that's an AI assist, it's 1,000% right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else you would call it. They're flashing like an animated video version of the review. So
why can't we just go back to humans doing this?
Remember when people were actually like legitimate people were saying like, no, we have to have the chain gang and we have to have that. Like this was a discussion 8-9 months ago, and we realized, well, no, we can actually have we had the technology to make this correct. So why wouldn't we use it?
And also, I feel like these guys who are 60, not to be like ageist, but if you're like a 67-year-old chain gang guy and Derrick Henry is rumbling to the side, 3 times a year, someone like has a compound fracture because they can't get out of the way.
And I don't even know if that's age, right? Like these guys are 10 times as fast.
I'm sorry, I'm clearly being an ageist.
I would die. I would die if I was a chain
dangerous.
gang member.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's very fast out there.
Baseball wouldn't change it.
Dex, no, they wouldn't. Dex had 2 things come off the board in the red. Max Brosmer leads a touchdown drive on his first series for the Vikings against the Patriots. And Colin Cowherd will rant about how unimpressed he was with J.J. McCarthy's preseason performance at some point this last week. I don't think he did.
No.
I ducked in and out, and also usually there'd be a clip of something that salacious would surface somewhere.
He talked with who's his co-host on his vertical, not the herd, but
John, 3 and Out, John Middlecoff.
John Middlecoff. They were more talking up the Vikings as the franchise, how great they are, and how they could be the next Chiefs, and how well run they are. And
they said they're the Chiefs minus Patrick Mahomes, which is kind of true.
Kind of, yeah.
Colin's definitely. It's funny. Some of the critics of McCarthy are going pretty silent right now.
Which is also kind of funny because stand your ground. He literally hasn't played a game yet. So if you feel that way, stand your ground, and we'll see. So mine are a little bit outdated here because we did add that correct prediction there. So I'm actually at 56.1% with 4 touchdowns. Judd 45.7% completions, also 4 touchdowns. Declan at 36.4% with 3 tuds. Listeners at 35% with no touchdowns. So pretty high completion percentages here relative to the career stats, which you pull these up. Declan 36.7%. Judd and I both at 35%. Listeners 24.5%. I lead the touchdown category with 62. Actually, listeners close behind with 60. So there it is. There's the accountability session. Let's get Sal in the house here, and Sal's going to tell us about. We might have some feedback. There we go. Sal, tell us what jersey you're wearing, and then tell us about the J.J. McCarthy jersey hanging behind you.
I had the Jared Allen. With the Hall of Fame, I had to wear his jersey for sure. I actually got to meet him in 2011 when he was here. He used to live in Arizona, actually, so I got to meet him, and there's like a picture of me looking really nervous, like side hugging. So, and then the jersey behind me, I actually normally don't buy. I don't ever buy like a new player as soon as we draft them. I kind of wait. I'll give it like a 2-3 years to see if they're going to stick with the team or kind of be like a foundational piece. And I usually don't buy jerseys, but it's the first quarterback I've seen this draft, and really top 10 ever. So,
wow. So Sal is not even waiting for McCarthy to step on the field. He's committed. He's all in, despite usually showing some patience. Love it, man. We're gonna start with Sal. The audio is a little shaky, so we might have to troubleshoot on the fly here. But we'll start with Sal, over to Judd, Dex, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room. So, Sal, you're under center here. What is your first prediction, sir?
Write this down.
You guys have been talking a lot about drinking the Kool-Aid, and I've been drinking a lot. So, for my first prediction, write this down. J.J. McCarthy will finish in top 5 in MVP voting within the next 3 seasons.
Wow. Within the next 3 seasons,
Nice.
the Vikings will have found their Patrick Mahomes, is what Sal just
either
predicted.
this season, 2026, or 2027, he will be within the top 5 MVP.
Wow. All right, Judd, what is your first prediction?
Okay, I'm going to. I'm actually going to go. I give this as my hottest Vikings take on Tuesday. I'm going to put it in the write that down category today, and that is Jonathan Grenard will lead the NFL in sacks this season. Jonathan Grenard will be the NFL leader in sacks this season.
Okay. Sure. I like when someone makes a bold proclamation on the hottest Vikings takes and then backs it up by actually, because you can't just like float it out there, then not go on the record, and then take credit later when it happens.
Agreed.
You know, how sure were you? But yeah, we went over, if for anyone who missed the episode yesterday, he was 3rd in the NFL in regular season pressures among edge rushers, and it was like Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson were the only ones above him on that list. I think they were 2 or 3 pressures ahead of him. So the process, the system, the way B-Flow deploys him, all of those things seem to line up. Okay, Dex.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will have reported interest, or they'll sign Odell Beckham Jr. at some point in 2025. Did I snipe you? Oh.
No.
Okay, I thought I sniped you. I know you were more anti it yesterday, I guess. But I think they'll either kick the tires on him, maybe bring him in for a workout, or they just flat out sign him with some question marks behind Jefferson. So they'll have reported interest in OBJ.
I mean, you could kick the tires, or you could start by just poking him with a stick and seeing like, all right,
do stuff.
Can he play football anymore? So in the same spirit as Declan's prediction, I will say, and we'll have a little more on this in the Judd's Camp Notes portion of this episode, but the Vikings, write this down, will trade for a wide receiver before week 2, or by the week 2 game. The Vikings will trade for a wide receiver by the week 2 game. Write this down. I think it might happen in the next week.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway here. Maybe they say, no, screw it. We're going to have Thayer Thomas be our 3rd receiver in week 1, and then actually we need to go get someone.
I think you're right. I think they're going to do it because they're going to get. I think what they want to do is get through the Titans game, right? Because then they'll go into because the players will be off at that point, and they'll go into what we like to call in the business the eval. So the evaluation of the roster. I bet you they trade for a receiver on cuts are Tuesday. I bet it's Sunday or Monday.
So before cuts. Before cuts.
I bet they trade. If it's going to be a name, like if it's a slappy, then it might not be. But if it's going to be a name that we know, I bet it's before that.
Yeah. Okay.
Write this down.
All right. Back to Sal for your second prediction.
For my second prediction, write this down. The 2025 Vikings will have more Pro Bowlers than the 2009 Vikings.
Ooh.
Okay, well, and how many did the 09? So how many can we name? 8? Favre?
And none of them will get kicked off the team as Bryant McKinney did because he didn't show up. He quit showing up for functions, and they're like, you got to at least show up for functions, and he got kicked off the team.
Yeah, Brian's like, I did show up for a function. 3 different nightclub functions last night, actually. My tab is still open to this day, 15 years later.
The worst part about that entire thing is I think it was the first Pro Bowl in years and years and years to be held outside Hawaii. It was held in Miami before the Super Bowl, which is where Bryant happens to live.
Yeah, there was a report that 10 years ago, had like a $500,000 tab or something, some crazy tab that was unpaid at one of those Miami nightclubs. Didn't he also like swing a pole at a bouncer one time?
Yeah, I think he picked up a stop sign pole.
Okay.
The ones that are, and I think he swung it at a bouncer. That caused some problems, though. I think he was arrested for that one.
Yeah, but he was a hell of a left tackle.
He was a good left tackle.
Yeah. All right, back to Judd. Second prediction.
All right, I've grown very concerned, and I think he's back at practice now, but I've grown very concerned about the status for the season of Matthew Stafford. Like, he's got some back problems. He's not young. He didn't practice. He did practice. Seems like chronic problem to me. So write this down. Matthew Stafford will miss at least 6 games for the Rams this season. He will miss at least 6 games. I said miss. He will miss at least 6 games for the Rams this season. I don't know if you can get through with a bad back.
Yeah, age is not really on his side. He's had
He's
the
had a
back
bad
things
arm
before.
He's had a bad arm. Now it's the back problem, and it's a disc problem, I think. I don't see this breaking real well. Unfortunately, it's too bad.
No pun intended. Breaking.
Write this down.
Dex, your next
All
prediction.
Write this down. The Indianapolis Colts will part with Anthony Richardson before Week 1.
Whoa!
I think they'll trade him. Yep, I think they're going to bail. I think they're going to bail. So I know the Vikings could be a team that maybe brings him in the quarterback rehab school, but the Colts will part with him before Week 1.
Dan Orlovsky put out 3 teams today, and the
that.
Vikings were the 3rd team.
Who were the other 2 he put out?
I would have to go find that.
Okay, it's okay.
I looked at it real quick, and I don't remember.
Eagles and
Argonauts.
Rams. Eagles and Rams.
Well, the Rams. There you go.
Eagles
Eagles
Rams,
make a
Vikings.
ton of sense because mobile quarterback. You could think about the tush push possibilities with Anthony Richardson. Okay, real quick here. Actually, let's put a pin in the Richardson thing. We'll come back to it maybe as part of Judd's camp notes.
So we will circle back?
We will
Circle back. Yeah.
Write this down.
Okay, good.
Write this down. I don't know if you guys saw this, but old Dalton Reisner he visited with the Bengals. The Bengals have some major offensive line issues. They got some injuries, and Joe Burrow was kind of running for his. They've still scored a bunch of points with that first team offense in the preseason, but Joe Burrow went backwards 15 yards at one point. So write this down. I don't know if Dalton Reisner actually signs, but the Bengals are going to start 2-0. The Bengals have had no luck with the beginning of the season the last 3 years. I think they're like they're like 1-10 or something in their like first 3 games, or I don't know, the last 3 or 4 seasons. It's really bad. They get off to terrible starts. The Bengals will start 2-0, and off the record, maybe it's the Dalton Reisner effect coming in as the final piece for Joe Burrow. Write it down.
I think he's going to Seattle too. I saw a report last night.
Pittsburgh. There's a Pittsburgh report.
So he'll find a job.
This is the 3rd year in a row that he's just rode it out until basically the season starts, and he gets picked up. All right, back to Sal for your 3rd and final prediction.
All right, for my final prediction, I'm gonna do a little chill compared to my other 2. I'm gonna say TJ Hockenson will lead all tight ends in receiving yards this season.
Wow. Yeah. So you think he's going to stay healthy and be the safety blanket, basically?
Yeah, I mean, with Addison being out for first 3 weeks, and then us not really having pretty much a wide receiver 3 right now with Naylor and all that, so I assume TJ is going to be getting a lot of the targets.
Yeah, even training camp. I mean, if you were to rank like the chemistry between McCarthy and various receivers, Judd, is it fair to say Addison number 1, but Hockenson pretty high up there? Maybe in terms of just chemistry and the connection during camp.
Yes. He's had a lot of days where it's very clear that he's going to be the outlet guy. So I would say that's very fair.
Love it. So, all right, Sal, good work on your predictions here. Since you've got this platform here on Purple Daily, is there anyone you'd like to shout out or thank you to helping you get to this point in your life today?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my mom, who's actually I was born and lived in Arizona, Phoenix, and my mom was actually born in Bellevue, Minnesota. So she lived there for the majority of her life. So that's the reason I'm a Vikings fan. So shout out there. Shout out to my fiance who puts up with all my Viking excitement throughout the season, sending random videos, links, all that. Anything I can get my hands on to send to people, I'll just send it out. You got to deal with it. So
awesome, man. Sal, good stuff. Loving the jerseys, the jersey game on point, and hopefully we see you again sometime, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
There he is, guest listener, predictor, Sal. I'm going to write that down. All right, gentlemen, before we get to our final predictions here, let's turn to our HVAC systems here. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Always doing fantastic work. And look, it's what? The temperature up and down, and we can't predict it, but it appears like it's going to be another hot and sticky one today. And that's where MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air come in to make sure your HVAC system, your AC, is working efficiently. They also, as an aside, are back at Woodbury Days this coming weekend. Find them there Friday through Sunday. Don't miss the Sunday parade. Also stop by their booth, a grill giveaway, and best part, Woodbury Days runs the Grand Button Prize every year. And this time, MSP is partnering with Halo Water Systems to give you one lucky winner a free whole water filtration system. That's right, free whole water filtration system. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com. Callmsp.com. Always making sure your home is safe and sound, and also giving back to the community.
Shout out to Roku TV as well. Roku is the official TV of Purple Daily here. You see them on the intro of our new YouTube intro graphics package. We appreciate them. And it's kind of crazy how much just sports viewing and even entertainment and movie viewing has changed over the last 5 or 6 years. Everything's a la carte, and all these streaming platforms are expanding and adding sports rights. So it can actually be a little confusing to figure out, okay, what league is on what platform? What time are the games? Well, Roku makes it really easy with the Sports Zone built in, so you can keep track of your favorite teams, your favorite sports. It'll tell you what time and what platform various sporting events are on. And if you haven't checked out the Roku channel specifically, tons of free TV channels, hit series, documentaries, movies, etc. Better TV for everyone with Roku, America's #1 streaming platform. Go to Roku.com to learn more, or shop at a retailer near you.
Write this down.
All right.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Judd, what's your third and final prediction?
Okay, I'm going to make one for Friday's game. Max Brosmer will throw 2 or more touchdown passes. Max Brosmer, who I expect to get plenty of playing time again, will throw 2 or more touchdown passes against the Titans.
Yeah, do we have an idea of... Is like Sam Howell gonna?
We'll talk about that in Judd's camp notes.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that. I'm jumping the gun to give you to give myself a little bit of an edge, and then we'll talk about that when once this is done. But yes, there is. I think I know what they're gonna do.
I love Judd sprinkling Judd's camp notes previews into the predictions of Write That Down.
Write this down.
Well, I'm using this
Next
to my
level.
my scouting. My scouting reports are being used. Judd's camp notes, the advantage is then going to Sports Dad as he attempts to get some Write That Down points.
I do have one question about this game, and if you need to reject me and tell me, we'll cover that in Judd's camp notes. You're free to do so. But of all the like things that have been the reference points and the stock that has been built for these players that are trying to make the rosters, going back to mini camps in the spring all the way through camp, joint practice, first 2 preseason games. How much does this third preseason game matter in terms of making the roster, do you think, for some of these guys? Like, it's probably different for some guys, but do you think it matters a lot, or do you think their decisions are largely made?
I think their decisions are largely made, but I think it's important. It's very important to certain guys who probably are on a bubble in competitions. Mm-hmm. But I'm not talking about names that we've talked about a ton either. But yeah, I think that there's probably some depth positions where you could swing it a little bit. But I also don't think that they're going to watch this game and think, oh, we got this all wrong. I think they know what they want right now, but there is a little bit of room for a change of opinion based on play. And I mean, there's some guys they probably expected more from that they didn't get it. If they get that in this game, I'm not saying that'll help them make the team, but I think it'll help their cause a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Write this down.
Declan?
All right. Xavier Scott will score a touchdown on Friday, and he'll make the 53.
Oh, a little parlay.
Yep, parlay. So touchdown on
Sure.
Friday, rushing, receiving, passing. I don't care. Touchdown on Friday, and he'll make the 53-man roster. Write it down.
Gotcha.
It'd be hilarious if Kevin got into his bag, or so Kevin kind of gives the controls to Wes Phillips to call plays, right, to get him some experience. If Wes Phillips started unleashing secret trick plays in the third preseason game.
Oh, yeah, O'Connell wouldn't go crazy.
We were going to hold that for week 2,
Yeah.
Wes, but thanks for putting it out there.
Oh, yeah,
Appreciate
that's not
you,
what.
man.
No. Wes would be walking home from Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier Scott, he's had an awesome run here in training camp, The screen game is what's been the most impressive. The fact that he caught 3 screen passes and had chunks on all 3 of them, that is an element that you could. I don't know if he might just be inactive on game day for all we see, even if he makes the 53. But he's been impressive. Mm-hmm. I also have a Hockenson prediction, kind of like Sal did here. So Hockenson has played 82 career regular season games. 82 career regular season games. And actually, if you throw in the postseason, he's played 2 playoff games, both with the Vikings. So 84 career games, and 5 different times he has caught 10 or more passes in a game. Now, he's done it in each of 2021, 22, 23. I don't think he did it last year. But it is likely at this point that he does it at least once in a year. And I'll just say it's not a touchdown prediction because of that. But TJ Hockenson will have a double-digit catch game at some point in 2025, like the 2025 regular and postseason. Yeah. Write this down.
Yep.
I could see. Yeah, I mean, he's had 11 for 134. He's had a 10 for 89, 11 for 86, 13 for 109 against the Giants on Christmas Eve a few years ago.
And within those first 3 games, I think that's going to happen. So with Jefferson playing, Addison out, Naylor, I'm guessing out, it feels like it's trending that direction. Or certainly him not being as effective as he should be. So, yeah, I could completely see that. And I do think at the end of the day, I think the tight end position is going to be very important to what McCarthy does in the passing game this season.
Yeah. A little safety play. It's funny. So he did it twice against the Giants, once at the end of the regular season, and then again in that playoff loss. He caught 10 passes for a $129 from old Kirky boy in a losing effort. So those are the Write That Down predictions, the only show in America with the stones enough.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
To put statistics next to our predictions.
And then show them, not just to the world, but our bosses, too.
That's right. And we still remain on this show platform. Judd's Camp Notes. All right, we're getting down to the final couple editions of Judd's Camp Notes here. So celebrate it before it's gone. And we put it on the shelf for a few months. But this abbreviated edition of Judd's Camp Notes, presented by one of Judd's favorite sporting events coming to town, the World Juniors. And also, you and AJ are going to do a special Judd's Hockey Show from kind of just behind the Score North podcast
stage.
The big stage, Carousel Park, on Saturday this weekend.
Yep. In fact, it's going to be a full-strength edition, always were, of Judd's Hockey Show with yours truly, AJ Fredrickson, Jesse Pierce, scheduled guest Bob Motzko, the Gophers coach, who's going to be coach of the U.S. team, and also Phil Housley, who played in the World Juniors last time it was here in 1981. This is year 50, boys, and this tournament, Phil is not joking, it is my favorite annual tournament in sports. What it does is it gathers the world's best under-20 hockey players together. These are future stars. What do I mean? I mean, the first time that Ovechkin and Crosby faced off was not in the National Hockey League. It was at this tournament. It runs December 26th through 2025, so this year through January 5th of next year at Grand Casino Arena, formerly the X, and also 3M at Mariucci. Get the USA 4-game mini pack. What does this mean? See all 4 of the US's preliminary round games at Grand Casino Arena, and you will get priority access to medal round packages, so you can get the best seats available when they go on sale. This package, by the way, only available for a limited time, so lock in now. Just go to worldjuniorsmn26.com, worldjuniorsmn26.com, and join us on Saturday. It's going to be a fun show talking about a tournament that if you are not familiar with, you will be, because it is so much fun.
And if you're looking for tickets to big sporting events, SeatGeek helping to power Purple Daily, Dex.
You might notice Dex Tweets' voice is a little hoarse there. I had to be muted because I'm resting up. I was screaming my lungs out at a Simple Plan Bowling for Soup and 303 concert. That's right, it's 2025, and I saw all 3 of those bands live last night. You can go to SeatGeek right now. Actually, it's the world's number 1 rated ticketing app. You can get tickets to Vikings games coming up. You can get tickets to Twins games, concerts, plenty of great stuff. In fact, for our Purple Daily audience specifically, when you go to SeatGeek, you can get 10% off any ticket with promo code PURPLE10. So if you're looking for tickets to the Purple this year, use promo code PURPLE10 at SeatGeek. A little 10% off there. Go download the SeatGeek app.
Judd's Camp Notes.
All right, kids. The penultimate edition of this, emotional as can be, Judd's Camp Notes. Let's get to them. Another brief practice. This is, I think, in line with what they did a year ago. Once the second preseason game is done before the third one, they go through 3 practices. Now, I assumed that either yesterday or today it would be in pads. I'm not so certain now. It wasn't yesterday. A relatively brief practice as training camp practices go. But let's get into the quarterback usage yesterday. I thought it was very intriguing, and I think it's enlightening as to my write that down prediction, okay? So there was a 2-minute drill that was run very, very well by Max Brosmer. Let's go through the snaps. So it was that 2-minute drill and then 7-on-7 and teamwork in the red zone. And that was basically it as far as the stuff that actually involved the entire team. So Brosmer yesterday took a team-high 16 reps. J.J. McCarthy took 7, Brett Rippon took 6, and Sam Howell took only 4. What's interesting about this is if you go back and look a year ago, so the Vikings in their second preseason game, which was at Cleveland after the joint practices last year there, the quarterback rotation was no Darnold, Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, and then if you guys recall, Matt Corral.
Yeah.
Who they had signed and then cut instantly, basically. Preseason game 3, which is the equivalent to this one, which was at Philadelphia, was Jaron Hall and Corral. So Brosmer, and this is what makes his playing time last week so intriguing. Brosmer, I think, is going to start this game, and Brosmer is probably going to get a ton of playing time. My guess is that Sam Howell does not play, which in the case of Nick Mullins didn't matter, like he was going to be the backup. I don't know if I can assure the same thing this time around, but I think what we're seeing is Max Brosmer in line for a lot of playing time again. And Phil, back to your question. So is Max Brosmer going to make the roster or not off of this game? No. Is it going to influence how they feel about him? Probably it will. So Judd's Camp Note 1 is, it's a sort of an interesting thing. The fact that Sam Howell won't play is not entirely surprising, but Sam Howell's footing doesn't feel nearly as secure as Nick Mullins did a year ago. And Max Brosmer's footing feels incredibly secure at this point.
So this is a case of if Howell doesn't play but Brosmer plays a lot, it could be we already know who Sam Howell is for potentially bad reasons.
Right, that's the thing.
And we think we know who Max Brosmer is, but we'd like to see a little bit more. But is there another option? And this is where I'll bring the Anthony Richardson conversation in. I would be surprised if the Colts made a move there before next offseason because Daniel Jones is rickety himself and could, if the Colts, that division's up for grabs. And Shane Steichen, it's time to go. Like they've been playing quarterback roulette here. This is like year 3 now of the system, and they got Jonathan Taylor in his prime. And this is not like a rebuild year for the Colts.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of laughable from the outside in because no one looks at them as big-time playoff contenders, but they're trying to win 9 or 10 games and maybe win a division, right?
Steichen could be fired if they're a train wreck.
Yep. But Daniel Jones is not someone that you would just anoint the starter in week 1. We ride or die with Daniel Jones and see what happens. I mean, the Steelers are doing that with Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers. And you know what? If he's over the cliff, I guess we're screwed. I think keeping Anthony Richardson around and saying, all right, well, if we have to go back to him, kind of like, listen, like the Panthers did this with Bryce Young, different scenarios, but they were out on him and then Dalton got hurt and then they brought him back in and it kind of clicked and here we go. But if they do decide to shop Anthony Richardson before the season, the Vikings have either 9 or 10 draft picks projected. So they've got 7 of their own next year. Yep. First round, second round, third, fourth, fifth. 2 sevenths. So that's 7 draft picks of their own. Mm-hmm. And then as of right now, they're projected to have another 3 compensatory picks, a 3rd for Sam Darnold, a 4th for Daniel Jones, and a 5th for Cam Robinson. So you have a 1st, a 2nd, projected 2 3rds, 2 4ths, and 2 5ths in addition to 2 7ths. What would you trade from that stash to buy low on Anthony Richardson in the next 2 weeks?
Somebody was not on Twitter last night because Thor tweeted about this, and then I was all in, and we were going back and forth, and Thor was he was getting a draft pick back, and he was getting a player back, and I said, no, Thorsky, let's cut to the chase here. I said
4 different pick swaps. And...
Yeah, Thor can't help. That's what I love about the guy. He can't help himself. Like he takes a theory, and by the time it's done, he's got 14 teams involved. He's got first round picks, from 2029.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I said was I would do Sam Howell, and I think I said a 4th round pick, or it could be a conditional pick. Here's the reason. Here's the reason why I think, on Thursday, tomorrow at the fair, we should get into this with Thor because he definitely has a lot of thoughts on it. But here's why I think the Richardson thing and the Bryce Young thing might be different. So if I'm not mistaken, Bryce Young got benched once. It didn't look good. Andy Dalton got hurt in that car accident. Bryce Young came back in and played pretty well, and now it's his job again. Anthony Richardson got benched for Joe Flacco last season, right? And now he's been benched coming out of training camp. And his agent is like, I don't know if this is working. And it feels like it might be a bigger divide than... This feels like if Bryce Young had been benched multiple times. So, and the Richardson thing is, I mean, he does need work. Like there's work here. This is not a polished product. Now,
you'd have to be QB3 behind Brosmer. If you did the trade, if it was like, hey, they need a backup still, so you trade them the lower upside Sam Howell and a 5th or something.
Right.
You would take in Richardson. You couldn't then... Dude, he's having trouble processing the offense he's been in for 3 years based on that first preseason game.
Yeah, and that's what
you'd have to stash him basically as the 3rd quarterback.
Right. But this is like... So, on the surface, I agree it looks bad. But here's where I'm curious about him. Is it feels to me like you took him to a garage. He's a car, and you took him to a garage to be repaired. And let's be honest, the mechanics aren't great. And like you're getting the runaround, and they're adding things on. And at the end of the day, you're like, I think the problem is you, not my car. So you take it to the KO garage, and the KO garage. Oh, we're talking about grease monkeys here, man. They got the grease going high. They're like they love their cars. And so I would love to see, because KO liked him, I would love to see if they got underneath the hood with what appears to be a really good QB guy.
Yeah.
So I'm kidding, but I'm not, because that's the one thing that would intrigue me.
I've brought this up before, but since graduating high school, Anthony Richardson has thrown 741 pass attempts since graduating high school. Joe Burrow last year threw 652 pass attempts in 1 year. Like, this dude is so raw. He's barely played quarterback. And I guess you could make the argument, well, he needs the reps. Dude, he needs to learn. He needs to go to, I'm a Judd. Bring him into the KOC rehab school. Let him figure out how to read a defense before he's just slinging passes inaccurately or for interceptions. So he is as raw as it absolute gets.
We can do more on this. I'll tease this for tomorrow. Day 1, Minnesota State Fair. You can find our schedule, scorenorth.com/fair. We're going to be out there all 7 of the weekdays. Tomorrow, Friday, and then Monday through Friday next week. Score North podcast between noon and 3 at the Score North podcast booth. And Purple Daily will be live for a Thursday tomorrow at 1 o'clock after the Score North Twin Show. Let's dive deeper on this. I have more takes on this too, but I'd love to get Thor in here because he's got some takes on it. So we'll do a longer quarterback rehab school discussion in front of the live audience tomorrow.
Just a guy with his tool set that loves to get in there and fix cars that look like they're unfixable.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some prerequisites before you bring your car to that garage, and I worry that Anthony Richardson...
Oh, no, you're right.
It's like you need to have like 4 wheels on your car. And
has 3.
Does your car have brakes? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Judd's Camp Notes.
All right, let's summarize the injury report. The latest that we've got, okay? Because this is actually now to a point where it's important. Justin Jefferson, 2nd consecutive day of individual drills. Did not take part again, and this is not surprising, in 7-on-7 or team drills. He had missed, keep in mind, 13 practices, had participated in the first 2. Basically, 1.5, hurt the hamstring, Came back on Monday, participated yesterday. The first team receivers yesterday that I charted, Tim Jones again, Lucky Jackson, Thayer Thomas. Now, Addison gets first team run, but he's not going to be playing those first 3 games. So, long story short, again, I don't see how it's possible with Jefferson back and playing. I don't see how you don't go get somebody else. You know, Tim Jones is a veteran special teams guy. Lucky Jackson, I mean, he's a guy, and he had a nice start to camp, but that certainly didn't continue. And Thayer Thomas, if you look at his preseason stats, he's got like a couple of catches tops. So I think what this screams is we are going to see a deal by Tuesday of some sort to pick up a wide receiver.
Our guy Tom Pelissero from NFL Network did tweet this morning, right before we hit record here, that with Jordan Addison suspended and multiple injuries, the Vikings are seriously exploring veteran receivers on the trade market, according to sources. Justin Jefferson's early season running mate may not be on the roster yet. They might be looking for that. And then he added, no trade is imminent, but Minnesota is actively looking with 6 days until cutdown day.
I wonder if KO would just stop by quickly with Sports Dad and be like, Sports Dad, you've been on top of this the entire time. Come upstairs and let's do some conference calls.
You want to hop on with me? How about this? You call the NFC teams, I'll call the AFC teams, and we can.
Well, let's vet this thing out too. Like, let's talk about let's have a discussion right now. Gabe Davis. Like, we're looking for a short-term thing here. Let's not waste our time. You got a wife and kids. I got nothing. I'll stay here. I'll work it out.
Yeah, I think he would trust you with that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would trust you.
Perfect comparison, too.
Okay.
Well, we got 1 more minute here.
Andrew Van Ginkel, 6 consecutive practice missed. I did see him. Harrison Smith has missed 5 consecutive. Haven't seen him. Not quite sure there. Jalen Naylor out again, not present. I don't sense this is going to go well at the end of the day. And Levi Drake Rodriguez, CJ Ham also continue to be out. The Van Ginkel one and the Harrison Smith one, to me, are the biggest mysteries. Harrison supposedly sick. Naylor, it's not good, but I think we know that.
Yeah. Yep. So good stuff. Judd's camp notes. 1 more day left of Vikings training camp. They'll continue practicing, but more like after cutdown day, then you start to transition into week 1 preparation, and then practices outside of the first kind of stretching drills are closed to the media. Yeah. They're already closed to the public, but so this is our last glimpse today at full practice.
They play on Friday. My guess is they'll be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and reconvene on Wednesday with the 53 all set.
Yep. And then they'll have a week and a half for the Chicago Bears.
And they'll probably start to do cuts well before Tuesday. I bet we see those start to leak out.
Yep. So, all right, Judd's camp notes, Sports Dad in full effect. You can get your hands on a Judd's Camp Notes notebook at our Score North podcast booth tomorrow at the Minnesota State Fair, and Judd on a stick. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And if you have a chance to come out, Score North podcast between noon and 3 every single weekday at the State Fair. Full schedule at scorenorth.com/fair. We'd love to see as many of you as possible. And we're going to create some space like between recordings, before and after, to hang out with the audience. And if you want to shake the hand of the hand that writes the camp notes, we will be accessible the next week and a half.
Podrick's in this hand, shaking hand like this.
That's right. Just like he always is. All right, Purple Daily, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See ya.